Okay, continuing on, number 6. Again, we run into the issue that if I was just going to add them together, I would get 5x minus 2y. Just because you want something to go away doesn't mean it does, so you have to make sure that it really works. So I actually need to do something else. And so how could you make this so that it would go away, so that one of the variables would go away? So you might be drawn to these two right here. If one of those was positive, that would work great. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, if all you have to do is change the sign, you just have to multiply by -1. So I'm going to write negative 3x plus y equals negative 21. And then I'm just going to rewrite the second equation without changing anything. And now I can add those two together. So negative 3x and 2x is negative 1x. The y's are gone. Negative 21 and 8 is negative 13. So if negative x equals negative 13, then positive x equals positive 13. So for my ordered pair, 13 is the x. Then to get the y, I'm going to plug in, and it doesn't matter which one, so I'll just do this one. So 2x, so 2 times 13, minus y equals 8. So make sure you plug in for the right letter. And so I'm going to have 26 minus y equals 8. I'm going to subtract 26. So I'm going to have negative y equals negative 18. So if negative y equals negative 18, then positive y equals positive 18. So there's my solution. So you're just writing your solution as an ordered pair, just like we've done before. The x and then the y. It has to be in that order. Okay, next, number 7. Okay, so look at this, make sure everything's in order. Check to see if one of your variables will be eliminated. If it is, go ahead and take care of it. If not, then you might need to multiply by -1. Okay, what you should have done, you notice these are going to be eliminated. All you have to do is just add the two equations together. So 8x minus 3x, or plus a negative 3x, is 5x. And then negative 1 and 6 is 5, and so x is equal to 1. And so then I'm going to take this and plug it back in somewhere. It doesn't matter which one. So 8 times 1 is just 8. And so I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. So negative y equals negative 9, which means positive y equals positive 9. And so there's my solution. So you might find that you're liking elimination pretty well, and really elimination probably becomes the favorite method out of the graphing and the substitution and the elimination. It's probably the favorite to do, but there are certain things that you have to watch for, and signs are probably the number one thing that people have problems with elimination. So make sure you practice this. Going back to other things we've talked about, please remember that you're solving a system, which means you're finding the intersection of these two lines, which means that whatever your solution is, it has to work in both equations. So you could still check this. I could take the first equation and say 8 times 1 minus 9. That's going to be 8 minus 9 equals -1, which is what it's supposed to be. Check. Now do the other one. Negative 3 times 1 plus 9. That's negative 3 plus 9, which is equal to 6, which is what's supposed to be. Check. Then we know 100% that this is the right answer. We don't have to wonder if we did it right or not really be sure. You can check and be sure that that's the right answer. Okay, number 8. We can see if this is all ready to go, and if not, you may need to multiply by negative. So pause the video and go ahead and solve it. What you should have done is multiply one of these equations by a -1. Again, it doesn't matter which one. If I have a choice, I'd rather do the first one just so I don't have to rewrite everything. I find that if I don't rewrite stuff, then I kind of get messed up, so I like to have it kind of grouped together. So this is what I'm looking at now. So the x's are going to be eliminated, negative 3y and 6y, 3y. On any of these, if you missed because of a sign, that's exactly what you have to be watching out for. So you have to be really careful with that. Again, you guys, please make sure that you do not change that fraction into a decimal. If you change that into a decimal, that's going to cause other problems, which you do not want. So even though you may be uncomfortable with that, keep working with it, because it's just something you need to be working with. I can take 1/3 and plug it in for y into either equation. I'll just take the second one. So 7x minus 3 times 1/3 equals -10. You guys, what is 1/3 of 3? 1/3 of 3 is 1. So see, it's really not that hard to work with those fractions. We're not giving you fractions that are really hard to work with anyway. So I'm going to have 7x is equal to negative 9. And so x is equal to negative 9/7. So this is a really good example of why you would not want to use graphing to solve all of your systems of equations. You would not want to solve something like that with graphing. Okay, the next set of problems, this is kind of emphasizing how things check. And so I want to know which point, so which of these points is a solution to the system. So I want to know this point right there, is it a solution to number 9 or number 10 or number 11 or number 12? So that's the question. So what we're going to do is we're going to find out. So think about, how would I know if something was a solution? What has to be true if you have an ordered pair that's a solution? So what you should have to do is you need to plug in and make sure it works. So just pick where to start. So if I take negative 1 and negative 2, I can just start with the first one and see if it works. So negative 2 times negative 1 plus negative 2, is that equal to 3? So negative 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 plus negative 2. It's not equal to 3, so I don't even need to worry about the rest of it. It doesn't go with 9. So I'm actually going to erase that. It doesn't go with 9, so now I'm going to try 10. Negative 3y minus 4, that's positive 6 minus 4 is equal to, and then negative 2 times negative 1, that's positive 2, that's true. Okay, then I'm going to try the second equation. So 2 times negative 1 plus 4 equals negative, and then negative 2. So that's negative 2 plus 4, that's 2, and a negative negative 2 is 2. That works. So A is actually going to go with number 10, and that's because it works in both equations. Okay, so now I'm going to try another one. So negative 3, positive 4. You can try whichever one you want. There's not really any good strategy as far as that goes, but I'm going to, maybe I'll try this negative 1, 1, because plugging in ones is pretty easy. So maybe I'll try that next. So negative 2 times negative 1 plus 1, that's 2 plus 1. That's 3. Check. So I'm going to try the other one. So negative 1 equals negative 4 times 1 plus 3. So negative 1 equals negative 4 times 1 is negative 4 plus 3, and negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. That worked. Okay, that was probably just lucky, but that did work. So this one goes right there. So now you've got it down to, 1 and 1. You've got, B is going to go with either 11 or 12, so just pick it and try. So 2 times y minus x. Watch your signs. If it says minus x and x is a negative number, you have to have both of them in there. So 2 times 4 is 8, and then plus 3. 8 plus 3 is not equal to 8. So you know that negative 3, 4 does not go with number 11, so it would have to go with number 12. I'm not even going to do it. And so then I would have to know, if I'm really confident that I did everything else right, I would have to know that those two go together. I think just to be careful, I think I'll just do that last one. So 2 times y minus negative 2, so that's 6 plus 2, that's equal to 8, check. And 2 times negative 2, that's negative 4, minus 2 is negative 6, and that's equal to negative 2 times 3, and that's negative 6. So I'm happy with that, and that's how everything works. So those are all solutions to the ones that they're matched with. Okay, the last couple of problems, we're going to go back to story problems. And so in case you haven't figured it out, story problems are one of the main things that you need to be able to do with systems of equations. And with story problems, one of the number one things that people have trouble with is just setting it up. And so setting it up is what we're going to be working on first, but then now that we know elimination, we're going to solve the problems as well. So the sum of two numbers is 48. What are the two numbers, you guys? Do you know? Well, no, I don't know which numbers they are. They could be anything. So I need two variables for that. So I'm going to have x, or you can pick whatever letter you want. X can be the first number. I don't know what it is, but that's the first number. And the other number, because you have to have two numbers, is going to be y. So the second number, and I have to find my variables. Now it says in the problem, it says the sum of two numbers. Well, what does that mean? That means if I take the two numbers and add them together, I get 48. There's one of my equations. Their difference is 24. So difference means you're going to subtract. So if you do x minus y, you get 24. So now I've written the system of equations. So you're going to have to define the variables, write the system of equations, and then you're going to solve. So as far as solving goes, if you look at the system I have, now that you know elimination, it's pretty easy to solve that. I can just add together x and x is 2x, the y's are eliminated. 48 and 24 is 72, and so x is equal to, divide both sides by 2 and you get 36. So 36 is the first number. So what's the second number? Well, you can do this a couple ways. You can say, well, 36 plus what is 48? Or you can plug it in up here and say 36 plus y equals 48 and then solve it using your equation skills. But it turns out to be 12, and that's the second number. Now if you subtract them, if you do 36 minus 12, you get 24, so you know it's right. So on this one, your answer is that. You're not going to write it as an ordered pair because it's just two numbers, and with story problems we don't write ordered pairs, we just label what the answers are. Okay, number 14. 3 times a number added to another number. So we again have two numbers. So whenever you have two numbers, you're going to define the variables the same. You're going to have x equals the first number and y is equal to the second number. You have to specify first number and second number. You can't just say x is equal to a number and y is equal to a number. You have to specify first and second. Okay, and then look at what it says. It says 3 times a number added to another number is 18. So we just write that equation. Okay, the next thing it says is twice the first number minus the second number is 12. There's your system. So you've done two other things that you have to do. So if you literally just translate those words into an equation, it's not really that hard to do these problems. The thing that people mess up the most is they can't define the variables. And so just watch out for that. Okay, now we're just going to solve. And so again, using elimination, it makes it a lot easier to solve this system. So I look at my y's, they're going to be eliminated. So I can just add 3x and 2x is 5x. The y's are going to be eliminated. 18 and 12 is 30. Divide both sides by 5, and I get x is equal to 6. That means 6 is the first number. And so I just need to find the second number. So this one's a little bit harder to tell what it is, so I'm going to need to go back and I'm going to say 3 times the first number plus the second number is equal to 18, and I'm going to solve that equation. So 18 plus something is equal to 18. Well, you can see pretty fast that that's going to be 0, so 0 is the second number. And those are your answers. So on your test, you're going to have to do defining the variables, you're going to have to write your equation, you're going to have to show your work, and you're going to have your answer.